we are Anka. You can support us with the Super Thanks button below. In the Russia-Ukraine war, the developments in the sea area are as important as the conflicts in the air and land area, because both countries that are at war have coasts on the seas. Therefore, the naval power of the armies is of great importance in the war. The Russian Navy, which did not want to lose its dominance on the seas, had to withdraw some of its ships in the Black Sea since the beginning of the war, and lost many important ships. The Ukrainian army is doing an excellent job of defending the port cities and targeting the occupiers of Russian-occupied port cities such as Sevastopol. The fighting on the front lines of the Russian-Ukrainian war is undoubtedly affecting developments inside the country. So much so that important personalities such as oligarchs, politicians and military officials living on Russian soil and having an impact on the war are being murdered in Russia or committing suicide under suspicious circumstances. In addition, the Russian army's targeting of Ukrainian residential areas and civilians, as well as fires of unknown origin in Russia, are indicators that the war has spread within countries. What about the seas? A Russian ship caught fire off the coast of South Korea the other day. This development shows that the war has spread to the seas as much as it has spread to Russian territory. With this, it has brought the tension between Russia and South Korea, which started in the past months, back to the agenda. Let's evaluate the burning ship and the developments between Russia and South Korea together. According to reports based on the Consulate General of Busan, a Russian fishing vessel sailing off the coast of Ulsan, South Korea, burst into flames for an undetermined reason. All 25 crew members on board were affected by the fire. 4 sailors died as a result of the fire. The fire occurred on a Russian ship off the coast of Ulsan, about 300 kilometers southeast of the South Korean capital Seoul. At 12:43 p.m. local time, a Russian ship was seen engulfed in flames off Ulsan. The ship was on its way to deliver 100 tons of fish and seafood to Russia, but it stopped off coast of Ulsan with an unknown fire. The severity of the fire was quite large. The 25 people on board, all of whom are estimated to be Russian nationals, called for help to the crew members after the fire. About 4 hours after the fire, the authorities of the Republic of Korea made a statement about the incident. According to the statement, 21 of the 25 people on board were evacuated. Among those evacuated were Russians with light and severe burns. The Ulsan Coast Guard said the injured were taken for emergency treatment. The remaining 4 sailors of the crew were missing according to the first data announced. But after a while, it was announced that 4 sailors died as a result of the ship's fire. The Russian state news agency reported that the bodies were found on a ship called Kaltan. A spokesperson for the Russian Federal Fisheries Agency's Far East Expedition Emergency Response Team told the Russian broadcaster that 21 people rescued from the fire on the ship were carried to lifeboats and from there transferred to South Korea rescue ships. According to the spokesperson, the ship's captain was the first of the 4 people declared dead. A spokesperson for the Russian Federal Fisheries Agency's Far East Expedition Emergency Response Team reported that the ship's captain gave the order to put the evacuated crew on lifeboats. Many comments were made about the statements made after the Russian ship caught fire off the coast of Ulsan. The most commented statement came from a spokesperson of the Russian state news agency. According to the statement, the ship that burned off Ulsan was on its way to the Sea of Okhotsk after being repaired in Busan. The accuracy of the statement was debated because it did not seem possible for the ship to be repaired and set sail immediately after a fire in which 4 members of the ship's crew died and more than 1 person was injured. Another statement that will lead to the discussion of the statement came from South Korea. A South Korean news agency announced that the fishing vessel was towed to the port of Ulsan and the fire was extinguished by a team of firefighters. The fact that the statements made by 2 different countries were not consistent with each other raised questions. The Russian authorities' policy of hiding the truth since the beginning of the war was also seen in the incident where the fishing vessel caught fire. The burning of a Russian ship off the coast of South Korea is allegedly related to the recent tensions between Russia and South Korea. Last week, South Korea announced that it would provide military support to Ukraine in case of a significant attack against civilians. This statement caused panic in the Kremlin, so much so that Russia made a statement immediately after South Korea's announcement. Russia criticized South Korea's decision and warned Seoul against providing any military support to Kyiv. South Korea has provided assistance to Ukraine since the beginning of the Russian-Ukrainian war. But this was not military aid. Until recently, South Korea had been hesitant to provide military aid to Ukraine. But the statement made by South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol on the other day surprised everyone. Yoon Suk-yeol's statement is as follows: "If there is a situation that the international community cannot condone, such as a large-scale attack on civilians, it may be difficult for us to insist only on humanitarian or financial support." The South Korean president's dramatic statement prompted an immediate response. Dmitry Medvedev, deputy chairman of the Russian Security Council, issued a stern warning to South Korea. Medvedev said, "New enthusiasts have appeared, eager to help our enemies." South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol said that, in principle, his country is ready to supply weapons to the Kyiv regime. Until recently, the South Koreans strongly assured that the possibility of supplying Kyiv with lethal weapons had been completely ruled out. I wonder what the people of that country will say when they see Russia's latest weapon in the hands of their closest neighbor, our partners in North Korea. Russia is increasingly backed into a corner by Western and European military aid to Ukraine. Russian leader Vladimir Putin wants to unjustly invade Ukraine and accuses all countries that are helping Ukraine of being involved in the war. Following South Korea's statements, Medvedev's statement also contains a hidden threat. Medvedev concluded his statement as follows: "The beginning of arms supplies will mean indirect involvement in this conflict at a certain stage." In addition to Western and European countries, the Ukrainian army could also receive military assistance from the Asian country of South Korea. Since this would put the Russian occupiers in a difficult situation, the occupiers warned South Korea before South Korea provided assistance. The war on the front is heating up with diplomatic relations. Russian leader Vladimir Putin and his military are likely to continue losing both on the front and in diplomacy. What do you think about the burning ship off the coast of South Korea? Could South Korea be behind the burning of this ship? Do you think South Korea will provide military support to Ukraine? What will be Putin's attitude towards these developments? We are curious about your views. Follow us for more updates. All rights to these videos belong to Anka Daily News YouTube channel. Our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook usernames are @AnkaDailyNews. Do not rely on any other social media publications. We legally fight all websites and channels that use it without our permission.